Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins 0. In the last episode, Rintaro met with Mahu and Leskinen, and once again voiced his concerns about being a tester for Amadeus Kurisu. Now once again we have returned to the Future Gadget Laboratory, and tensions are still running high between Rintaro and Suzuha Mane.
人を探していたんだ。
And it seems that Suzuha was looking for a certain someone while she's been here in Akihabara.
人? それってやっぱ男?
You get no points this round, Daru.
小さな女の子。今はもう私より年上になっちゃってるか。
At this point in time, there is no reason for either Daru or Rintaro to know this, but the little girl that Suzuha Mane is looking for is none other than Kagari Shiina, who at this point in time would no longer be 10 years old, but 22. That was a strange way to put it. I glanced over at Daru, who looked back at me.
実はさ、私が乗ってきたタイムマシンにはもう一人乗っていたんだ。
Indeed. And the only reason that Kagari was put in the time machine to begin with was because Mayuri, who adopted Kagari when after her parents were killed in World War III, didn't want her to live in the harsh reality of 2036.
なんだって? スズハ、そんなん初耳なんだけど。
Of course
今ま
it
で
is.
話してなかったからね。
Yeah, but you did technically tell us in a alternate world line, one might say. Although, of course, having time leapt, those events no longer technically happened, nor will they happen. But, actually, puts the question on the mystery of Kagari Shiina, because, we never heard anything about Kagari in the Alpha World line. So that means that Kagari Shiina is unique to the Beta World line, which is somewhat interesting. She was looking down at her feet, and I could see that she regretted bringing it up. Almost sounding like Sean Connery there for a
今どう
second.
してるんだ?
どうしているかはわからない。
She could be anywhere in Akihabara, but she's still in the
わか
vicinity.
んないって。
No, considering the fact that she disappeared in 1998 after refusing to help Suzuha change the world line, because in Kagari's mind, erasing the future of 2036 means erasing the existence of the Mayuri Shiina who adopted her and basically looked after her.
はぐれちゃったんだよね。1998年にここ秋葉原で。
Indeed, under very strange circumstances. 1998. That would have been 12 years ago. So it wasn't just Suzuha who came from the future. It took some time for the meaning of that to sink in.
でも、なんでそんなことになったん?
To cut a long story short, Daru, Kagari pointed a gun at Suzuha and then left the time machine and then ran away.
私とその子は IBN5100 を探すために はじめ1975年に飛んだ。理由はおじさんならわかるよね。
Indeed, Suzuha needed to find the IBN 5100 from 1975 in order to fix the Y2K problem in 1998 and prevent Y2K from ever being a thing. Unfortunately, for some strange reason, Kagari decided to destroy the IBN 5100 as a means of preventing Suzuha A from altering the world line, and B ultimately preventing her from reaching Steins gate. I nodded silently.
なんとか無事に IBN5100 を手に入れた私たちは、今度は1998年に飛んだ。
I wonder if in the Beta World line, the IBN 5100 was donated to Yanabayashi Shrine by Ferris, or her late father, who died in 2000. Well, since they were in 1998, Ferris's father would have still been alive, since he wouldn't have yet have perished in that terrible plane crash, or that plane accident, which for some strange reason only killed him. Everyone else lived though, which is rather strange accident, if you can call it that.
2000年問題を回避するミッションのためにね。
Now we saw all this in the flashback from Suzuha's perspective, but Suzuha is now bringing Rintaro and Daru up to speed.
2000年問題
That was one of the big events at the end of the last century, along with Nostradamus' prophecy. But in the end, after all the fuss made by the media and pundits, nothing really happened. That's because they already took measures into their own hands and fixed the problem before it could ever occur. Was that because John Taito had come from the future to fix it? That's one of the reasons. The other reasons is that people actually decided to take the Y2K problem seriously enough to prevent it from ever occurring at all. If that was the case, then wow. Unfortunately in this world line, since Kagari destroyed the IBN 5100, Y2K is still a very, very real thing.
その1998年にトラブルが起きて、その子とはぐれちゃったんだ。
Of course, it seems that Suzuha is keeping the specifics to herself, which is probably not a good idea, although she probably doesn't want to talk about it. So I can understand her
はぐれたま
position.
まタイムマシンで跳躍したのか
I think she used the time machine to try and find her.
仕方なかったんだ。あの子は自分からタイムマシンを飛び出してしまったし、それに
And then she vanished out of the radio building and into the streets of Akihabara. And we still don't know what happened between, 12 years is a long time, so what happened to Kagari Shiina between 1998 and 2010? That would definitely explain a lot of things if we knew the answer to that mystery. She must have remembered something because she swallowed her words with a bitter expression.
もちろん私だって探した。燃料の残量が許す限り何度も細かいタイムトラベルを繰り返してあの子の姿を探し回った。
Unfortunately, those time jumps not only took their toll on the fuel supply, but also the internal battery. Because even though the machine is currently inert, it's still plotting gravitational calculations and time coordinates. Basically, the internal battery of the time machine only has 6 months of energy left if it's unused, but if Suzuha decides to jump again, she only still has 1 or 2 jumps that she can use with the battery, and if the battery fails, then she can't control when and where, let alone how she goes through time. And that's on top of the fact that Suzuha is still trying to get Rintaro to jump back to July 28th in order to try and save Kurisu Makase from certain death, even though Rintaro is completely certain that, as with Mayuri Shiina and the Alpha World line, convergence will dictate Kurisu's demise no matter what happens. In the end, Suzuha never managed to find Kagari.
大体の事情は分かったけどさ、どうして今までそんな大事なことを黙ってたん？
Probably because she A, it was her responsibility, and B, it's not so much that she was trying to keep it from the two of you, but a third person, we'll call her Mayushi.
あの子を見失ったのは私の落ち度だ。ちゃんと自分で責任を取りたかったんだ。
Indeed, Mayuri from 2036 had entrusted Suzuha with Kaguri's life, and Suzuha feels like she let her down.
水臭いな。
Daru's words were soft.
僕たち親子だろ。困った時は頼ってくれてもいいのだぜ。
父さん。
Wow, he's actually being serious for once.
その子を探せばいいんだろ。だったら僕らも手伝う。な、オカリン。
So it looks like we're going to be searching for Kagari ourselves.
って俺もか。
Well, it might be a nice change of pace from dwelling in the past and dredging up old past traumas through Amadeus
当
Kurisu.
たり前だろ。別に未来を変えてくれっつってるわけじゃないんだし、それくらいやってくれてもいいっしょ。
Probably good to get a change of activity, even though he's probably still swamped with the university materials from Tokyo Denkai. To be honest, after refusing all of her requests to save the world, I was feeling a little guilty. I'd like to help if I could, but I wanted to know what she'd do after she found her. That's
で、
true.
その子の名前と年齢は？ちなみに可愛い女の子だよね。男とか言ったら父さん許さないぞ。
And here I thought you were finally making some progress, Daru.
女
Once
だよ。
again, one step forward, two steps back.
オッケー。名前とスリーサイズもよろう。
I think if Suzuha didn't slap you in the face, I think that future Mayuri would as well, not to mention present Mayuri.
3サイズなんて知らないよ。だって別れた時のあの子は10歳だったんだから。
幼女か。
じゃあ今は22歳になってるはずだな。
That's, yeah, that would definitely be the case.
名前プリーズ。
Brace yourselves, because this revelation is going to blow
名
your
前は
minds.
カガリ。シーナ・カガリって言うんだ。
Kagari Shiina.
シーナ。
Indeed, the adopted daughter of Kagari Shiina. Of Mayuri Shiina, sorry. Kagari, you can't adopt yourself. That would just be crazy. Not to mention a paradox. The name was an unusual one. It's strange that you would forget the name, the last name of your childhood friend, Rintaro, not to mention Hoen Kiyoma's vaunted hostage. A girl who was part of Daru's group in the future, who had the name Shiina.
スズハ、まさかその子って。
Looks like Daru's managed to put it together. Well, Rintaro, as usual, is slow on the uptake, as always.
彼女の母親の名前は 椎名真由里。かがりは真由姉さんの子供なんだ。
And Suzuha fills Rintaro in on the details. Mayuri's daughter. Of course, it was possible that Mayuri would choose to have a child in the future. But the fact that I'd never even thought about it made the shock that much worse. If she had a daughter, she must have had a partner. Not if she adopted a daughter, and that partner couldn't be me. Because I died in 2025. Wait a second. If she was 10 in 2036, then she would have been born in 2026. I'd have to learn more, but if I died in 2025, wasn't it just possible? Maybe, barely, that it could be me. That just couldn't be. Indeed it's not, because she's adopted. Just like Suzuha had appeared before Daru, was she going to appear before me? No. If Mayuri... if that were the case, we'd be seeing Mayuri's future self, who probably would be in her, let's see, if she was 16 in 2010, then that would basically make her, let's see, having to do a bit of math here. There's 2010 and 2036, so that's 26 years. Added to 16, so 36, she would be 42 if she came back to 2010. But Rintaro wants to know who the father was, but he couldn't ask. It's not... What do you think?
ちょい待ち。シーナってことは名字はそのままってことだよね。ってことは
It seems that Daru is thinking along similar
かがりは
lines.
天才孤児だよ。身寄りがなかった彼女を真由姉さんが引き取って育てたんだ。
But fortunately, Suzuha is there with a save to dispel the awkwardness.
ああ、なんかそれ、まゆしらしいかも。
Indeed, even years later, Kagari Shiina's calm and innocent nature remains untarnished by the wars of World War III. I realized that I was relieved in more ways than one, and I hated myself a little for it. Even if she did marry someone else in the future, as long as that made her happy, it was for the best.
私は真由姉さんからかがりを頼むって言われたんだ。だからこんなことになっちゃいけなかった。
And that's exactly why Suzuha feels guilty and responsible.
あの子はいつだって真由姉さんにべったりだったし、この時代には知り合いなんているはずもないから、きっとずっと心細い思いをしてるはずなんだ。
Of course, if she were ever to run into the present-day Mayuri Shiina, Kagari would pick up right where she left off.
その子はどうしてはぐれてしまったんだ。さっきトラブルと言ったが。
Yeah, I'm sure that Suzuha probably doesn't want to reveal exactly what happened. If she'd come to a new era in the time machine at only 10 years old, Suzuha would have been the only person she could rely on. Well, she spent some time in 1975 before jumping to 1998. There was no way she'd leave Suzuha and run off on her own, and yet she did, and if memory serves, at the moment that happened, she claimed to hear a voice compelling her to do something.
ただ過去に飛んでからのかがりは精神的にかなり不安定だった。
So something must have happened, either in 1975 or 1998, to cause her to do that. That made sense, come to think of it. A young girl, suddenly just 10 years old, was suddenly taken to a world where she knew no one. And sadly, she was left alone most of the time in the time machine, which can't be activated without Suzuha's biometric DNA. And given the fact that Kagari Shiina has post-traumatic stress disorder, being stuck in dark, cramped places is more than enough to give her a panic attack. Of course she'd be scared.
その子の写真か何かはある？
Doubtful.
うん。
But apparently she does have a photo of Kagari, it seems. She showed me a tattered picture with 2 girls in it. There's future Mayuri, and there is the little girl that is Kagari Shiina. One was an adult woman. I couldn't see her face, but maybe it was Mayuri 20 years from now. Hiding behind her was another girl. Was that Kagari Shiina? And this is the first time that Rintaro has actually seen Kagari's appearance.
この子が22歳に成長してるわけか。いまいち想像がつかないな。
That is, if she was still alive, she could very well be. Even if Japan was a safe, peaceful country, it would be hard for a young girl to get by on her own, especially at 10 years old. If she was lucky, someone might take her in and give her to an orphanage, but if she wasn't... Suzuha was probably well aware of that possibility, so I didn't bring it up.
なおかりん、協力してくれよ。
Well, at least we have something of a lead, I suppose.
マユリの養女なんだろう。だったら見つけてやりたいさ。
And now Rintaro has an incentive to search and rescue the missing Kagari Shiina.
でも鈴葉はいいのか？俺が手伝っても。
Well, it's as Daru said, we're not technically going to be altering world lines just by searching after Kagari. And it's the least you can do. I felt sure that Suzuha was disgusted with me. I had a chance to save the world and I'd given up. Due to the trauma that you suffered as a result of the cruelty of world line convergence forcing you to murder the woman you were trying to save, Kurisu Makase. Would you want help from a person like that?
おじさんさえ良ければ、人手は大いに越したことはないと思うから。
But it seems that Suzuha is glad to have Rintaro's help.
そうか。だったら手を貸すよ。
And Rintaro is willing to help, for Mayuri's sake, and Suzuha's. Of course, I didn't think that would make up for that, but it's a start of goodwill. And Suzuha is grateful. Oh! Impeccable timing, Your Majesty. Yeah, just at that moment, Mayushi turns up. The one person we didn't want to overhear. Everyone turned around at the sudden voice. Hello, Mayushi. That means it's past 8 o'clock, since she's back from May Queen. Mayuri. Yeah. I wonder if how Mayuri would feel about knowing the future. The moment I saw her, I finally relaxed. At least she's still safe.
よかった。マユリ。
I took her small hand in mine and felt the warmth. It seems that, in addition to the trauma of Kurisu Makase, Rintaro is still feeling the effects of trying and failing to save Mayuri on the Alpha World line. She was alive.
オカリン
すまない。
Yeah. And, she's still wearing her hat, which is probably the same or similar hat that she wears in 2036, now that I think about it.
別に嫌じゃないから大丈夫。マユ姉さん、いつからいたの？
Whereas, you were quieter than a mouse. Ninja mouse, or ninja Mayushi, because we didn't hear the door open.
今来たばっかりだよ。
Looks like she just arrived. So she hasn't been there that long, but just enough to hear the last part of that conversation. I was careless. I was so focused on what Suzuha was saying that I didn't see Mayuri come into the room. Probably a good idea not to show her the photo from the future.
ねえねえ、マユシーの幼女がなんとかって聞こえたけど、何の話をしてたのかな？
On the one hand, it's probably not a good idea to tell her, but then again, she does, we did inform her of the events of the Alpha World lines, if memory serves, to a certain extent.
それはその
Yeah, good luck explaining this. Crap. Mayuri knew that Suzuha was from the future, but telling her about her future daughter would be going too far. I needed to change the subject.
マユリはまだまだ幼い。つまり幼女だと言っていた。な。
Yeah, that was. Rintaro says the first thing that came into his mind, and it's ridiculous.
そうそう、マユシは幼女かわいい。
And for once, Daru is playing along, even though we would criticize
よく言われるんだ。ユキさんみたいに大人っぽくなりたいんだけどね。
his normal behavior, but we'll let him off the hook just this one time because we are trying to distract Mayuri from the truth. And yeah, Mayuri is 16, but she does have the appearance and behavior of a 14 or even a 12-year-old at times.
食べる量だけは立派に大人かもしれないな。
I'm not sure Mayuri would see that as a compliment.
えへへ。
Or maybe she does. I guess I was wrong. Yeah, that wasn't a compliment. But that was enough to distract her, evidently.
そうだ。食べ物といえば、オカリンはクリスマスに何か食べたいものある？
Ah, that's right. Mayuri is still preparing for the Christmas party.
パーティーのことか。
Indeed, the Christmas Eve party.
別に何でもいいぞ。
We'll have whatever food that you and Yuki come up with.
食べられるものなら。な。
Yeah, I think we don't have to worry about Mayuri's cooking anymore.
クリスマスパーティーか。
And Suzuha has a wistful look on her face and tone in her voice.
すずさんは初めて？
Not in 2036, he
私たち
hasn't.
の時代はパーティーなんてやってる余裕なかったからね。
Yeah, especially with military forces constantly hunting you down.
でも一度だけ父さんがどこからか美味しいチキンを調達してきてくれたことがあったっけ。
But apparently they still had juicy chicken #1, Mayuri's favorite.
それをマヨ姉さんが調理するって言って父さんが止めて。
Yeah, that sounds like Mayuri. Suzuha was looking at Mayuri as if she was remembering the past. Or the future, as the case might be. Yeah, definitely the
い
future.
つもよりほんの少しだけごちそうってだけだったけど、それでも嬉しかったな。
But Suzuha seemed to enjoy it, so all's well, I guess. In the future, when World War III was going on, there probably wasn't much time for celebration. But even then, Mayuri was still Mayuri, trying her best to make everyone happy. With upas and fried chicken.
ダル君は何か欲しいものある？
僕は可愛い女の子がサンタコスしてくれればそれだけでお腹いっぱいだお。
Yeah, once again I have no response to that. Daru is still Daru.
料理はどれくらいいるかな？
Probably enough for a dozen people, Mayuri.
ユキさんと一緒に用意する予定なんだけどね。そうだ、ルカ君やフェリスちゃんにも手伝ってもらおうかな。
Well, the more the merrier. Mayuri's head was full of thoughts about the Christmas party, it seemed.
コカリンは誰かパーティーに呼びたい人いる？
Well, the only two people Rintaro has in mind are Maho and Leskinen.
俺は別に。
Though Maho isn't really up for it, but if memory serves, Leskinen is more than eager. Unfortunately, we still have to deal with Leskinen. I almost said no, but then I remembered someone by the name of Maho Hiajo. She said Christmas was always something you spend with your family, but maybe this one time she could make an exception.
オカリン？
あ、いや、特には。
Then again, maybe not. How was she going to spend her Christmas? That is a very good question indeed. It was after I walked Mayuri home. The second I was alone, I started thinking about this afternoon. If that really was a world line change, then what was the cause? That's a very good question. The most likely possibility was that someone had succeeded in developing a device like the PhoneWave TBA. We were able to make one. There was no reason someone else couldn't. Another possibility was that, no, there was no use in thinking about it. I was just mistaken. No, we aren't. And even if the world line did change, we weren't the cause. We didn't have anything to do with it anymore. That's no reason to give up on responsibility, Rintaro. Whenever I was alone, I always ended up thinking about things that wouldn't do me any good. And with Rintaro lost in the mire in the quagmire of his own thoughts, I believe that is it for this episode of Let's Play Steins Gate Zero. When we return, I suppose we'll just continue wandering the cold, frozen, desolate streets of Akihabara. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.